Quick side note, this is an excerpt from our Starside Chat weekly podcast. My co-host Aaron and I discussed Elder Scrolls Blades, but I also added on some additional thoughts to the end of the video now that I've spent a little bit more time with the game. So stay tuned for that and enjoy.
I want to know if Elder Scrolls Blades is a bad decision. Zach, you got into this. You're actively playing it.
I started it very briefly. I couldn't actually get in at first. They had this message up there that was like, thanks for downloading the game, but you we're only letting so many people in at a time or whatever, because it's early access. But I don't know. It's interesting. I think the controls need some tweaking, especially the look, where you kind of swipe around to rotate your camera. That needs some tweaking. It's not very smooth right now.
Can you play over Bluetooth?
That's a good question. I've not tried connecting my Moga controller to this yet, but I like the idea of it. It just it remains to be seen content-wise and how this thing holds up once you start playing it on other devices, because the promise of it is that it's also going to be on consoles and PC, and so the idea is that you can basically play this thing anywhere and then just jump back and forth between all of them, and your progress is carried over.
Do you think that they were making this game and they're like, oh yeah, this is such a good idea, you can play it anywhere, and then they saw that Stadia announcement and they were like, oh man.
Yeah, I think so a little bit.
Could have just been building this on Stadia.
I was gonna say that. I was like, I think this was born out of them wanting to get Skyrim on mobile devices, because they were
100%.
They were trying to port it to everything, and so they wanted to get Skyrim on iOS and Android, but they couldn't make it work. And so instead they compromised and are like, well, let's just build a mobile version of an Elder Scrolls game that's very Elder Scrolls light or whatever. And then because it's so light and the controls are so sort of not very intense, we can just make it playable on everything. We'll do the reverse of it.
Can you jump?
You can't.
Can you crouch and sneak?
You can't. You start off in this town that has been burnt to the ground basically by some mercenaries, and there's this queen who rules them and ordered them to do it, and so you're trying to help the town get back on its feet, and you name it, and you go on these little missions, and it's very a mobile game where these missions are good for a couple minutes, so you can easily pick it up and put it back down again. They're designed around short sort of encounters type of a thing, but basically you'll go talk to somebody and they'll give you a mission, or there's a jobs board that refreshes every few hours or whatever, and you can see what rewards you'll get when you go to do the mission. And so you'll launch the mission, and it's basically a little dungeon. It's very brief. You have a few hallways and some corridors to go through. You'll fight some enemies, you'll break some pots and get some items out of it, and you might find some chests. And the chests, they're on sort of a timer system where you'll hit open or unlock or whatever, and there's different tiers of chests. So a wooden chest is the most basic one, and that takes 5 seconds to unlock or whatever. But then you have silver and gold, and I think it goes up even higher than that in terms of rarity and value for what you get in terms of items in those. And the amount of time it takes to open them also goes up with each of them. From
Zach, I'm gonna ask you a very important question.
Okay.
Can you pay money to decrease the amount of time chests take to open?
You can, but you would pay to, I think, you get these green thingies, these green, it's some sort of in-game currency, green coins or whatever. and you get those fairly frequently, but some of the stuff to like unlock them costs an awful lot. So it is like it's very much like you would expect from like a free-to-play game where there is like a microtransaction store, and it is.
This is bumming me out.
I mean, it's everything you expect it to be. But yeah, so you go through these missions and you like queue these chests up to unlock, and then like as you're completing missions you get like resources, and you'll go around and you'll find like a plot of land that has like ruins left from when it was attacked or whatever, and so you can click on that, and then if you have enough resources and money you can start constructing like a house or something so that more people can live in your town or whatever. And you can build like a smith or whatever, so you can like upgrade your armor and your weapons, or like craft new stuff and sell stuff. And then I don't know, so it's very much trying to rebuild this town, and the more stuff you build in there, like the more prestige your town has, and so you can sort of improve it over time. It's stuff like that.
How does your inventory work? Are you equipping like a chest piece and gauntlets and boots and different weapons?
Yeah, and you can get like multiple ones of each of them. So like right now I think my character has like a mace that has like shock damage on it. But I also found like a longsword and a knife and like an axe or something like that. And then you can either sell those or like scrap them for parts, and then you can...
Is there encumbrance?
You only have so much inventory space, so I would imagine that you won't get encumbered. You just won't be able to pick up more stuff until you do something with whatever you've got.
So is the only progression building the town, or is there skills progression? Like,
there is
skills. Can you eventually get better?
Yeah, there's skills progression, and there are like skill trees and everything. And like I have multiple like magic abilities equipped as well. And so I've been like, when you level up, you still get like the prompt to, do you want to put your level up points into magicka or stamina?
Right.
But health isn't one of them, I guess, for some reason.
Oh.
So you automatically get like a boost to your health when you level up, but it doesn't like ask you if you want to put your points into that. You get to put them into either magicka or stamina.
This just makes me want more Elder Scrolls 6 information.
So that's the thing. Like, I don't expect too much of this game, and that's why I say like it's fine. I like the idea of it maybe more than some of the execution on it. It is just to hold you over until the next Elder Scrolls game, basically. Like between this and just replaying Skyrim, it's just supposed to help you sort of feel like you're getting some of that Elder Scrolls fix until the next game comes out. But I do like the idea that you can sort of play this in landscape, and you kind of have the traditional, like, on the left side of the screen, there's like a virtual joystick, and you can like move the camera around with your right thumb. Or if you don't want to play it that way, you can still hold it in like portrait mode, and you just like tap around, so you can still like play this game with one hand. Additional thoughts now that I've spent a little bit more time with the game. The situation with the loot chests and the microtransactions is going to be even more frustrating than we initially realized, because you'll eventually get to the point where your inventory space for chests is full or nearly full, and the game will give you a warning screen every time you try to start a new mission that basically says, your chest inventory is almost full, are you sure you want to start this mission? And since the rewards for completing missions are given to you through these loot chests, what this message is telling you is that you can play the mission, but you probably won't have the inventory space to get all of the rewards for completing it. So basically, your progression and ability to continue playing is tied directly to these loot chests, which means the game eventually becomes pay to keep playing. You can either pay for the green gems to unlock the chests or wait out the timer, but if you're like me and you have like 15 silver chests that take 3 hours a piece to open, that becomes more than a day of opening the app every 3 hours to start another chest unlocking, just to get your rewards and have the inventory space to keep playing more missions. It's not ideal at all. If the gem economy was different, like you could earn a good amount of them for pretty much any activity you did, or you'd get a bunch of them every time you opened a chest, that would be one thing, but right now you don't get very many very often, so it does feel like the game is leading you to spend money unlocking these chests in order to keep playing. Granted, this could change, the game is still in early access, but for me right now, I've pretty much hit a wall where I can't progress anymore because I need to play missions to get XP to keep leveling, and I need to do that in order to play the next story mission, but I can't play any more missions off the jobs board because my chest inventory is full. I can't imagine many people are going to hit a wall like this and still have the desire to keep playing, especially once streaming game services like Google Stadia become available and Elder Scrolls Blades will be competing for your mobile gaming time with other Elder Scrolls games like Skyrim. In fact, our Elder Scrolls Blades discussion on the podcast this week got sidetracked by a big long discussion about Stadia, which I edited out for the sake of this video. But if you're interested in hearing that, I'll link to the YouTube version of the podcast in the description, or you can find it on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or pretty much any other podcast service. Just look up Starside Chat. Anyway, that's my initial impressions of the game. If you've played the game, let us know what you think in the comments, and I'll catch you on the next one.